agenda is item number 19, which is consider approval of the Wood County organizational chart. And I believe, Commissioner Gaskell, this was your item.
Yeah, this is pretty much just an update of, you know, over the years we've created new positions and new departments, and this hadn't been updated in a long time. And so, I mean, I can go back as far as, you know, what's under the Commissioner's Court as a whole. And, you know, I was on the court back when we created the Human Resource Department, which used to be under the Treasurer's Department, and back when we created the Elections Administrator's Department, which used to be under the County Clerk. And over the years, all this that's shown on this chart, and especially what's under the Commissioner's Court, is kind of has gotten confused in passing of time, because in the past years, it'd be like, I remember back in the day, this is probably 15 years or more ago, that the Commissioner's Court's like, well, okay, well, this is under the whole court, but Commissioner Gaskell, would you take this on, kind of take charge of this department? So back when Rita Myers was here, I was over at IT, and then later on, it was kind of, the court was like, well, Commissioner Gaskell, can you take care of buildings and grounds, you know? So I did that for 2 years, but in saying all this, and then now Russell does buildings and grounds, and then Jerry Galloway and Commissioner Shipp, they were over IT for a couple of years. It's just been back and forth, but just to update, because we do have new things as far as our courthouse security. You know, there for a little while we thought that could be under the district judge, which is actually under the sheriff. So just to make clarity of all of it, and then also the new position that we just created this year, which is the environmental officer. So in saying all this, I just wanted to clarify and get the organizational chart back the way it's supposed to be, because over the years, with it not anybody having the organizational chart or seeing what it is, you don't really know who's under who. So this chart would show you that as a Commissioner's Court as a whole. Now, as far as, like I was saying, a lot of times, and just like the county judge, a lot of times the county judge would ask her to do a big part of this, because she's at the courthouse all the time and we're not always here. So it's pretty much who's got the expertise in this and who's available. So that's kind of how it's been over the years. But to get back to the bottom line, it's under the, you know, this chart shows what's under the Commissioner's Court as a whole. So any big or final decisions would be made by the whole court. So I'd just like to make a motion to approve this organizational chart and to send it to TAC.
Well, before you make that motion, if I could just say something.
Too late.
I think it's a great idea to have an org chart, and there's a lot of counties that do have that. You just beat me to the punch. But the sad part is I haven't had a lot of time to look at this, and I know the other 20 elected officials probably have not had the benefit of looking at this. I don't know. I'm not sure. Did our county clerk have a chance to look at this? Did the district clerk look at it? Did the district judge look at it?
Probably not.
Did the sheriff look at it? Did legal look at it? A lot of the job duties.
Legal has looked at it and approves it.
I would like to talk about this more probably in a workshop. In the meantime, I think it would be a prudent idea to circulate this amongst the different department heads.
Well, except for what your duties are that's regulated down from the state, you know, you have those that you have to do. And it even breaks down as far as what the commissioners themselves duties are on, just like road and bridge and county lakes. Also the county judge is office manager, county court, court coordinator, EMC. But all of this has always been under the court. It just may have gotten confused because of over the years, the court has said, well, you kind of take charge of this. So
I understand, and I agree with that. It's just that I don't think we've had enough input from the other elected officials, and if we do this for the department heads and elected officials, then it follows then, are we also thinking that each department then needs to have their own org chart underneath them? I think that's something that needs to be considered. I personally...
Well, actually, it's for elected officials and what they're...
That's correct, but then within each of these, for instance, the tax assessor collector office, she has her own org chart for how things are handled in her office. Likewise, the auditor, she has her office, and then she has a hierarchy of who performs which duties and what their job descriptions are, or what their titles are. So if you're going to do this across the board, at some point, I'm thinking we need to follow through and make the department heads and elected officials prepare their own org charts, because that's not noted on here.
This particular chart here, when you talk about the tax assessor, collector or something, this, what Jerry has done here is those that have people and departments under them that are different from their elected function, so to speak. Like the tax assessor, the collector, we don't need the breakdown chart. This is those, and understanding who the span of control goes through. And I think this is clarity on that.
Sure, well, and this is just represents the elected officials and the commissioner's court.
And the sub-functions that come under them.
And what I'm saying is,
Like emergency management comes under you.
I would request that there be some discussion on this. I just saw this document after Commissioner Gaskell put it on the agenda. And I would think as a courtesy to your other elected officials that you would solicit their input on it. This has got some misspellings on it, and I honestly would not vote to approve this and put it out.
Can I give my opinion?
Certainly.
As an official?
Certainly.
I think this chart is what it is basically, I mean, it doesn't take me long to look at it to see. This is basically informing the public what these departments, who they answer to, or who they, it's just, it doesn't have anything to do with our job duties and what we do as under a clerk. Yeah, you could continue under mine, but this, as I'm looking at it right now, this tells me that elections with the little asterisk there, because there's an election board, the Veterans Office, Indigent Health, all of these departments, they answer to the Commissioner's Court, which that's always been a given. Has, just as Commissioner Gaskell said, it has, through time, it has been given to, hey, can you take on these duties? But ultimately, this is the way it's always been.
Yes.
This is who the departments answer to these.
Yeah, and there's just a
Yes.
few new ones as far as environmental, we just created that, so it did need to be updated. But, and I'm like what you're saying, it's exactly the way it's always been, just to not have the confusion. This needs to be, we need to vote on this, and it needs to be sent to TAC, because we do send this to TAC, so.
And you did say that it went before our DA, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. So I made the motion.
I second the motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have one nay, and I will voice my opposition to this for the grounds I already stated. As a courtesy to the other elected officials, I would think that you would at least let them comment on this. This item, as far as I'm concerned, I have not vetted it. I haven't had a chance to study it. And when you're obligating these officials to this hierarchy and this structure, I think it's inappropriate and it's unprofessional.
Well, actually, Judge, you don't actually have a vote to say nay, because you're a tiebreaker. You don't have a vote.
I disagree with you. I respectfully disagree with you. That may have been the way it's done in the past.
That's the way the
But I'm a member of the Commissioner's Court, and I have a right to cast a vote, so
Only in a tie.
no, sir. I respectfully disagree. I'm a voting member of the Commissioner's
I
Court. Just
agree.
because
I'm
prior
in a tie.
county judges have not done so, doesn't mean I'm going to abdicate my authority to cast a vote. So I'll let the record reflect that it was 4-1 on that vote.
God damn, y'all boys get away from Lucy before y'all get some of that stupid shit she's
We're at
doing
the
out
end
on
of the
your good
agenda. I
clothes.
entertain a motion to dismiss.